year.
On that very same building and just down the hall, there exists a completely different world as far as radio stations go. WMMS, one of Cleveland's progressive rock stations.
Starting at the corner of 9th and Euclid downtown, and he says to me, "This is Cleveland.
This is my city."
Get down there!
We are back once again with
we are.
Stairway to Cleveland. That's Keith.
That's Scott.
And we've got our special guest tonight, one of Cleveland's legends in the singing world.
Agreed.
Legend?
Absolutely.
Yeah, look around.
Mr. Dave Brooks, ladies and gentlemen. Let's hear it for him.
Woo! Thank you so much.
Thanks for being on with us today, bro.
Thanks, man.
We are once again down here at the lovely Liquid Lounge. Thanks of Joey D for having us down here. Thanks, Joey.
You're welcome.
Well, Joey might be chiming in shockingly as we go through this. You don't mind, do you, Dave?
Shockingly? Fuck no.
Okay. Well, we're going to talk here tonight. We're going to talk about your illustrious career. We're going to talk about Cleveland singers who've made it out of town and made the big bucks, made it famous. And then we're going to go to battle one more time.
Oh,
Dave's pick.
maybe
tonight.
you'll win one.
No, I got it, man.
I think I've got it.
No.
Tonight we are battling the Smith of the Aero variety.
Oh, yeah.
Aerosmith.
Aerosmith.
So yeah, it's going to be a good one. Keith's
great.
going to be blown out of the water.
My entire...
Well, yeah, and there'll be a reason for that, and we'll discuss that during the battle. But go ahead.
Dave, thanks for being down here.
Yeah.
Let's talk about you, man. Let's start at the beginning. You were born in Geneva, right? All the way out that area?
I was born in Brownsville, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
And then my mom left my real father, and she decided to go to South Dakota to live with her cousin.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I guess we were there for I don't know. I was really young.
Okay.
So it's the first thing I remember is looking out the plane window at the clouds and going, wow.
Right.
Anyway, we were there 2 weeks and she's like, I'm the fuck out of here.
Oh, yeah.
There's Mount Rushmore. We're gone.
No, she's like, wow. And then we moved to Geneva, Ashtabula, kind of. Sure. And then she ended up marrying this guy. And then, so I grew up in Geneva on the Lake, all that stuff. I was always down at Geneva on the Lake my whole life.
What got you into the music? I mean, was there music in your family?
My mom.
Okay, was she a singer?
All the time. She's always playing like Ella Fitzgerald and Peggy Lee and
all the classic
all that stuff, Frank and
sure
and all that stuff. And then I started playing like records for her too, and she just got me to sing. I had a really bad stuttering problem when I was a kid.
Really? Okay.
And what got me out of that was her having me sing.
Wow.
That got me out of stuttering.
Really?
Yeah, it was really bad. And like I couldn't talk in school and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like, which I'm probably doing right now.
Well, it was kind of like Mel Tillis. I mean, he couldn't speak, but once he sang,
yeah,
it was clear as a
right.
Yeah.
You know, and it was kind of like that. And I mean, I still have a problem with that. I have to like stop a lot and talk, you know, because you got too much shit going on in your head, you know. Well,
this goes faster than this usually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah, and you're like, well, there's 14 fucking things I could say right now.
Right. Which way do I want to go with this?
Right? I mean, I know everybody's like that, but I had a big problem with it when I was really young.
So singing helps you get through a lot of that.
Like, she really pushed me into it. Like, I want you to sing this song for me. I want you to sing this song for me. And like,
that's great.
It is. It saved my life.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, did you discover you had this natural talent, or did you have to grow it? Did you take lessons, or did you just say, hey, man, I could hit these notes through the ceiling?
I just kind of could.
Okay.
And like when I was, I got sent away to a children's home when I was like 10.
Okay.
And there was this is great. I was in the band in 7th grade. And
you're talking about school band?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was playing drums, and I was actually the bass drum guy.
Nice.
And I was walking down the hallway one day singing, "There's a smile upon my face, so that just to fool the public." Sorry, I'm singing so bad.
Oh,
anyway.
Smokey. Gotta love him.
What a great...
The choir teacher heard me and pulled me into the room and sat me down at the piano, and he's like,
That's awesome.
ba 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 ba. He did, this crazy lick on the piano and asked me to sing it back to him, and I did. And he did it just like 3 or 4 times, and then he looks at the class and goes, "See, that's what I was talking about." And
wow. Wait, so he pulled you in front of the whole class to do this?
yes.
Wow.
It was,
talking about putting you right on the spot right away.
It was fucked up. And then the next day I go to band practice, and the band director, he said, "You're done." I go, "What?" He goes, "Apparently you're a pretty good singer, but you're a really shitty drummer. And you're in the choir now. You're not in the band anymore." I'm like,
Wow. That's the first band you got kicked out of?
Really?
right?
Hopefully the last.
No, there was a few. I've done some really fucked up shit.
Oh.
And
Maybe we'll get into that.
well, I piss a lot of people off.
Stop it. LSD. is what you're saying?
Everybody knows that. Anybody in this town knows I piss everybody off.
Ow.
Oh, yeah.
Well, not
So
everybody.
far, you're all right. You haven't pissed us off yet.
Well, give me a couple minutes. Anyway, so then I was in the choir, and then they put me in this show and all this other stuff. I had no idea I could sing like that.
Really?
I had none. And then my mom really cultivated it.
Sure.
And but what I started singing was like, it wasn't rock music, you know what I mean? I my first stuff was like blues and jazz and stuff like that. And, then I discovered Black Sabbath and
And you started turning it up to 11, huh?
And then I discovered Aerosmith. And then I went and saw Aerosmith. And I'm like, that guy is having more fun than anybody on the planet.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm talking about Steven Tyler.
Oh, yeah, we know what you're talking
And
about.
I thought he was God for a very long time. But anyway, that's all I wanted to do. After I saw Aerosmith the first time, it was like, bam. And I got in a band when I was like 14 or some crazy shit like that and started playing at the Cove.
Of course.
When I was that young, And
Now you're just a singer in the band. You didn't play guitar or anything. You just were the front man from the start.
I'm a terrible guitar player.
All right, so you can't do drums or guitar.
guitar.
Have you tried bass?
No.
Anybody can play bass.
Well,
You can. Mark Matthews can play bass. Okay. No, I wouldn't even attempt it.
Right.
Because Well, especially if you listen to all the really early stuff like Billie Holiday.
Oh.
What drives the song, or Ella Fitzgerald, or any of those people?
walking
What
bass
drives
line.
the song is the upright bass. You don't really hear the drums out front that much.
Right. Yeah, it was mostly brushes and stuff back then.
Yeah, they were sitting back, and the bass was like dum dum boom boom boom, driving the song.
So basically, what you're saying is the bass is the coolest instrument in the band. Wouldn't you agree?
I
Rick?
don't know if I'm saying that.
Rick, wouldn't you agree?
Yeah.
Anyway,
So 14, you're starting to play in bands, out in clubs.
yeah, I was in the Cove by the time I was 14.
Wow.
And
What was the name of that band? Do you remember?
Earthborn.
Oh, very hippie-ish.
And then we turned into Mariah. It was Earthborn, then Mariah, and then I moved to Cleveland. I was only 16, and the Scene magazine back in the day had, look, we need a singer for a band, or like all the, like if you wanted to do something musically, you looked at Scene magazine, and
It was the place back then, yeah.
find a band. And then I joined all these guys, the Mangano brothers, and Miles Boozer and Richard Sovic, and they had this band, and they were practicing in Cleveland. And I literally used to hitchhike to Cleveland like 3 times a week and hitchhike home.
Wow.
To living in, Geneva on a Lake. And I had to walk 3 miles to get to the freeway.
It'll keep you in shape. Oh, you were young.
Well, no, yeah, when you're like that, yeah.
That was nothing.
We would run half the time, But
Now, what did that band turn into?
that turned into the first version of Risque.
Okay.
And God, we played those guys are great. Lots of Zeppelin and Aerosmith, and I was in that band for a while, and then I got I forget what happened, but then I stopped playing with them. I think a couple guys quit.
Sure, it happens back then.
I was real young though too. And then I got was with Todd Tucker and all those guys from the second version of Risque.
Okay.
But they were called what were they called? Some really dumb name.
Was that Foreplay?
No. Foreplay was after the very successful version of Risque. That played at the Agoras and all that other stuff.
But didn't the heart of Risque turn into Slammin Gladys?
No,
it had nothing to do with each other.
Well, Al Collins was originally in the first Risque band, and then he quit and went and Janie talked him out of playing with us.
That's Janie Lane from Warrant.
I went to play with those guys, and they...
that was Plain Jane?
I don't think that was what they were called at first. They were called something else. It was with Billy and... Not Morris, Denimede. And then... no, he just... Janie... he could write.
Sure.
Immediately. Like the first time I ever went over his house, like he was playing the song on the piano and singing. I'm like, you wrote this?
Was he originally a drummer?
Yeah. He didn't come out from behind the drums for a long time. I mean, I tried talking him into it when he was like 17.
Wow.
I'm like, what are you doing? I mean, they opened up for us. This is a really funny story.
Sure.
You want to hear this?
Absolutely. It's what we're here for.
Janie comes up to me, Janie.
Right.
And we're at the Akron Agora. And I think it was like 82, I gotta think, or something, 81 maybe. But he's like, will you come over and listen to my band? Because we want to open up for you guys. I'll give you a quarter of a gram of cocaine if you come over and listen to us. I'm like, I don't need anything. Don't worry about that. So I went down and listened to him, and then then they started opening up for us all the time, and then he sang one song. It was a Loverboy song. Can't remember what it is, but I'm like, what the fuck are you doing playing drums? And you should be singing. I'm sorry, but he blew their lead singer off this fucking world.
Risque is now hitting the scene. You guys are making some noise. How did Risque turn into you going to LA and turning into Slammin Gladys?
Risque, I quit that and I went to LA. And
now, what was the cause going on? Did you want to be the rock star going out there?
I was tired of energy talent taking 20% of our fucking money. And I was like...
Because they don't do that in L.A.
No. But anyway, when we were playing, we started playing the Limelight down in Canton. And the first night that it opened... Risque played, and then Dennis had all these playmates show up.
Nice.
Yeah. And I met Marlene Jansen, and she invited me to come out there. So
say no more. What's a
we,
young boy to do?
We did a lot of fucked up shit too. Like we were, he had this other club, and we were up in his apartment above the club, and we were in the hot tub and stuff, and we started fucking around, and then we left the tub, but we left the water running.
Oh.
So it flooded the whole fucking club downstairs.
Yeah.
And he was so pissed off at me. He's like, and you got to understand, when he hired Foreplay, which was, with Pat and Spike and all those guys, he hired us to be his band at the Limelight.
You're the house band, basically.
Yeah. And he gave us a salary back then. So we're $250 a week, which was a lot of money back then.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
That's like, I don't know how much money now, but
at least 300.
I'd say more like 1,000 probably. But anyway, so I was just always around. I mean, he gave me the keys to his club and stuff. I mean, Dennis Manos was really good to us.
That's awesome.
And then, after Foreplay went on for a while, I really started writing songs, and I wanted to be an original band. So then I got in Slammin Gladys. That was with Fedovich and Ferocious and Dave Leitner. Crazy son of a bitch.
I remember that name.
Then, I just wanted to make records.
Sure.
And be real. But I'm not saying anything about playing in cover bands because, I've been doing it most of my life. But, I wanted to make...
You want to get your art out there for people.
Right. I wanted to make a couple records, And so then moved out to L.A., and then I was at this party. I started hanging out with Mark Greenwood. Okay. Mm-hmm. I was living at Robbie's apartment, and there was like 13 people living in this apartment in LA.
That's a typical everybody LA thing.
Right. And then I moved in with Mark Greenwood. And
now, what year was this, Dave? Around. Late
89.
80s? Yeah, okay.
I got there on January 1st, 1989. I got to LA. And then I started roadieing for Nasty Cowboy. That's what they were called. Mark Greenwood, Lee Greenwood's kid.
Okay.
He was playing drums. And anyway, so I was roadieing. And I ended up at this party in North Hollywood somewhere. I don't know. And Abby Steinman was there. And I picked up a guitar and started singing. And he's like, what the fuck are you doing roadieing for these guys? I'm not saying they weren't very good, but...
Avi had a reason to say that to you.
Yeah, but he was.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, he goes, I'm your new manager. I go, what? He goes, I'm your new manager. And then I moved into his, condo.
Sure.
He's like, "You just move in with me. I'm going to take care of this." And then, I don't know, a couple weeks later, we pulled into the Rainbow and we were drunk as fucking bombed ass drunk. And I opened the door and fell out of the car in front of the front door. And J.J. Ferris was standing there.
Okay.
He goes, "Hey, man, I know you." He goes, "You're that singer from Gotham City." Oh, I forgot about Gotham City. And then I go, "What?" Anyway, he called me the next day and started playing me stuff over the phone.
And he's great. He's a great
amazing.
guitarist.
Oh, wow.
J.J. Ferris, my God.
Ideas every day. One,
really?
two, just like that. Like it.
Tasteful playing,
Oh, yeah.
that guy.
Yeah, great hands.
Yeah.
Great hands. And then he called me the next day and we started writing songs. And then Al Collins was out there and he had left playing Jane because Janie joined Warrant.
Mm-hmm.
And then he got involved. And then it took a while to get Steve DeBoard. But anyway, but we just, it just started happening. And we started playing out and it was freaking awesome. To be there during that time was ridiculous. Sure. Because there would be 3,000 or 4,000 people just on the fucking street.
Right.
Like,
And this is kind of like
Towards the end.
almost towards the end.
It is.
Towards the end of the big
crested
L.A.
but it
metal
was
scene.
still there.
92, it was gone.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that's when Slammin Gladys' album came out, right? 92?
I would say that, yeah.
Yeah.
I think so, yeah. Something like that.
I believe it was.
You probably know better than I do.
Yeah, I did a little research on it, Dave. But so those guys all became Slammin Gladys.
Right. It was JJ, Al Collins, and Steve DeBoard, yeah.
Right. And that you guys released your first album in 92. And dude, if you've never heard the album, go look it up.
Priority Records.
Priority Records.
Right.
It's amazing. I mean, it's like
Wow, thank you.
It's like extreme
really good.
on steroids. That's
It's
why
like
I look at it.
extreme with a really good singer.
Wow.
Now that first album, Janie produced that with you guys, right?
Oh yeah. Oh no. Yeah. He really. Well, he was the one that initiated the demo. He took us into Sound City. And
The Sound City.
with that board and Joe Barisi and David
Wow.
The
Eaton.
knee board.
The board, yeah. If
classic
you've never
Neve.
seen the documentary, look for it.
Dave Grohl owns it now.
Yeah.
Oh God, that room. Anyway, we only had enough money to do one day. So we went for 23 hours straight. We recorded 3 songs. I think it was Bad Attitude, Lay Me Down.
Great songs.
What was the fucking other song? I can't remember. Oh, Give It Up. But that never made it on a record. But, God, this sounded so amazing,
Sure.
I mean, with those guys doing all that. And
I have a question.
yes,
How did the deal happen? How did you get to Priority Records? How did Abby? What was Abby's part in you getting there?
Well, a lot of it was kind of a mistake. Atlantic Records. There was like 3 or 4 labels that were involved with the whole thing after the demo came out, and and Janie gave it to a few people, and but the Priority Records thing, we never saw that coming because they were a rap label. Right. I mean, their biggest thing was
California
at the time
Rising.
was like I used to sit in the waiting room with Ice Cube. You know what I mean?
Right. And it was NWA and the California Raisins, right?
Exactly.
Right.
You're exactly right. And then they offered us like way too much money. So, we should have probably went with Atlantic or something like that. But Zootak from Atlantic was, kind of dragging his feet, and we wanted to make a record, and we didn't want to why do we need to do more demos? You don't know what we sound like, and stuff like that. And they wanted to do a production deal or something, but we signed with Priority because they offered us a lot of money.
Man, it's hard to turn down money, and
and then the publishing too, and so when somebody's like doing that, but they didn't know how to sell the record.
So that album came out, and then you went on pretty extensive tour, I'd imagine. Did you go in a lot of?
The first thing that happened is, Janie calls me up and says, "Hey man, do you want to go on the Uncle Tom's Cabin tour?" I go, "What the fuck is the Uncle Tom's Cabin tour?" And he's like, "We're going to go all the way up the East Coast. We're going to 10 days in a row. Is it 10 or 12 days in a row? And you want to open up for us?" I go, "Are you fucking kidding?" No.
Yeah, no, sorry.
That was...
Because they were at the peak of their powers then. I mean...
Oh, well, it was...
Cherry Pie.
Cherry Pie had just come out.
Right, because they originally were going to call it Uncle Tom's Cabin until the record label made them write Cherry Pie, and then...
That's a pretty good story.
Yeah.
Donnie Einer called Janie up and goes, "I don't hear a single."
Right.
He's like, what about all the songs on the record?
Yeah. Which are all amazing.
Yeah, there's plenty of singles on there.
Yeah, come on, man.
Mm-hmm.
I mean...
if you don't hear a single on that album, there's something wrong with you.
Uncle Tom's Cabin's probably my favorite.
But I'll tell you what, you know what Lane did? He got that call. I was standing in the room and it happened. And then we went to the FM station in North Hollywood, got drunk, came home. I got dropped off in Van Nuys, and then he went back to his house over in Sherman Oaks. And then he calls me up at freaking like 10 in the morning and goes, "All right, I wrote the song." And he goes, "Come down to Sound City." And he wrote Cherry Pie. He wrote that literally overnight and had it recorded by 2:00 the next day.
No shit.
I mean, it didn't sound all that great, but I mean, it was
It had the
rough.
bones, yeah.
Yeah, the bones were
But I mean, look what Beau Hill turned it into. I mean,
Right.
he like that. The production on that record is stupid.
Yeah.
It's just incredible. But I went down there and he's like, I don't know how he does that fast or how he did that, but I sang some backgrounds on it
Did
and
you?
stuff, and Cece played the guitar solo.
Really?
Well, we were all three hanging out a lot.
Okay.
Like me and Janie and Cece would hang
That
out.
sounds like a lot of trouble is what it sounds like.
You have no idea.
Right.
I can't even tell you the shit that went on.
Right. Yeah, we might be arrested. We might be dragged out of here just for being in here with him.
By the book.
So basically, let's go back to this. So he asked you to go on the Cherry Pie tour.
Yeah, and then that really got us ramped up, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people started paying attention.
Now, was that the tour with Firehouse and Trickster as well?
No, it was just Warrant and
Direct support.
Slammin
Okay.
Gladys. We just opened up for Warrant and
45-minute show, half hour.
yeah,
Yeah.
40 minutes.
But it got you in front of 20,000 people every
That's
night.
awesome.
You know.
Oh, it was insane.
Yeah.
I mean,
Did you think you made it at that point? I mean, was that the goal you were going for? Like being on that stage in front of 20,000 people? Or was there still other things you thought in your mind you have to do
But the
yet?
thing was, it wasn't that big of crowds. They wanted to do clubs.
Okay.
Oh, I
So
got
we
you.
did
Okay.
really big clubs like Hammer Jacks and stuff like that in Baltimore. What's that place in Fort Lauderdale? It used to be the what the hell was it called? I forget. Anyway,
Nobody in Fort Lauderdale watches us. Who cares?
The greatest
Yeah.
show was the Limelight in New York City, because that was insane. Because it's an old church and
Oh,
stuff.
really? Okay.
And there's 3 tiers of people and stuff like that. And
Nice.
and we did that, and somehow Lane got all the way up to the top
Shocking.
floor, and we were doing a song. He wanted me to come up and sing, and he threw the mic at me from 60 feet, and I missed it.
Well.
And it bashed all over the stage. But then when we finished the song, but that was what an incredible experience that was. I mean,
Sure.
and there was what, 3,000 or 4,000 people there, I'm thinking. But that really helped us out a lot.
Yeah. So next to Warrant, you toured with some other great bands. We obviously South Gang. We've talked a little bit before we went on, because I'm a huge Butch Walker fan, and you told us how cool Butch is and how talented he is, as well as Lane. That the two of those guys, probably the two guys have perfect pitch.
I believe that.
Yeah. So we got South Gang. This is before.
Well, I mean, there's other people. I mean, Dennis Lewin probably does.
Sure.
And Scott does.
I do. I have pretty damn good pitch.
All right.
Joey,
Well,
I don't know about just Joey guy.
You forgot the off in front of that.
I ain't never heard him sing off key.
So we got Warrant, Poison. You open for Poison?
No.
No.
Warrant, South Gang, Brittany Fox.
What about Mighty Joe Young,
Well,
which became Stone Temple Pilots?
we used to do the No Bozo Jam on Mondays at the Whiskey.
Okay.
And I'll tell you what, back then, STP, Mighty Joe Young, they were really funky too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they
They found
completely,
their grunge yet, huh?
wow, what a change. I mean, if you listen to their earlier stuff, it sounds a lot like Slammin Gladys.
Really?
Yeah. And the first time I heard the first STP record, I was like, that doesn't sound anything like Wineland.
Right.
And
you hear Plush and you're like, that's not funky.
well, I mean, what I'm saying is he kind of changed his voice around to sound, I think, to sound more like Pearl Jam,
Sure.
which is you
Is
can
what it
tell.
was at
You
the
can
time.
tell.
Yeah.
Well, it
That was
worked.
the flavor at that point.
It fucking worked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they were a lot smarter than we were. Anyway, and then we used to do these Mondays. It was called the No Bozo Jam, and it was like 5 or 6 bands, and everybody played through like 3 songs, and it was killer as fuck.
Right.
I mean,
This was in
God,
LA.
the bands were like just
Whiskey.
amazing.
Whiskey.
Yeah, at the Whiskey. And we did that for a while, and then that helped us out a lot. What was the name of that goddamn band? Jizzy Pearl. What was it? What was
Oh,
it?
Love
LA
Hate.
Guns?
Love Hate.
Love Hate.
Jesus Christ, they were fucking amazing. They were fucking great.
Now.
And like they would like usually headline, you know.
They're another band that never really got their potential. So basically, okay, so Slammin Gladys had their first album. You did your whole thing. And what ended up happening? Did you guys have a falling out with the record company? Did they drop you? Did you guys break up? What happened?
Well, it was really crazy because after all the trying and touring and everything else, the song I wrote with Janie, What You Need, really started getting some airplay. And that's when they decided to like drop us.
Really?
And I'm like, okay. And so they just stopped everything.
Wow.
After putting all this money into it too.
Yeah.
And, well, they didn't know how to sell the record.
Sure. But you started finally getting some traction with the song. And
Oh,
then all of a sudden
yeah.
they pulled the rug out from under you.
Yeah. And it was the best song on the record, I got to say, probably.
Yeah.
But, you know, Lynn helped me up with a lot of that stuff.
Sure.
You know, like, hey, maybe you should try this.
Right.
Like, I hate you.
So Slammin Gladys had their run. What made you decide to come back home to Cleveland? Were you just done with LA, the whole scene? You missed home?
You miss Scott.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah.
See?
We didn't know each other.
I got to admit it.
I knew it.
I miss Joey and Scott.
That's it.
And you.
Oh.
Anyway, and Brandon. Anyway, I came back in 95 I started engineering and recording everybody.
Okay.
I just got really into it. And I came back to record Chris Bourne and all those guys in Junkman in 95. I was going to record these guys at the Cactus.
Now, what do you mean, these guys?
Liquid.
Was that Liquid era?
Joey.
Liquid, yeah.
And I got really sick, and then
Yes.
I couldn't make it, and then he's like, fuck you. He's like, you didn't show up, fuck you. And which I understand, but I got, you know, you can't help it.
You got to get your help together, yeah.
Well, no, I made myself sick. Okay. You know, it wasn't like I was
Understood.
I was being a stupid fuck.
Say no more.
So that's
So you came back, you recorded a bunch of records. What made you get back into then you got back into the cover scene? Is that what happened when you finally joined another band?
I was in LA. It was I was at JJ's house, and Richard Sovic from Risque called me up and goes, they have this Paul Halabinko and these guys have a band called The Breakfast Club, and they need a real 80s singer.
Sure.
Which I happen to be kind of good at.
Your forte?
A little bit. But, well, I just learned all those songs.
Sure.
You know what I mean? You sing them for so long.
So when did you come back and join? So you came back to join Breakfast Club?
Yes. I needed money.
Sure.
You know. And
Now, was Billy Morris in the band at the time? Because I know there was an original version that was totally different.
I made that happen.
Okay.
I actively made, I'm like,
Yeah, because I know the Breakfast Club that was original was a total different animal than when you guys took over.
the guitar player that was in the band was, what's the word I should use? Dissatisfied.
Okay.
Or something. He just wasn't a happy person. And
I know the feeling.
I'm like, we need Billy Morris. And then I talked him into it. And then it really blew up.
Yeah.
And then we got fucking Tim Burris.
Oh, one of the best.
He's a great guy.
What? Fuck.
A great guy and one of the best drummers
By
ever.
far. Absolutely.
He's one of my favorite drummers ever.
It's a killer lineup. It really was a killer lineup.
I'll tell you a story. I had Tim Burris come over to play an original song for me and Freddie DeMarco.
Mm-hmm.
And he was playing, but he wasn't spinning, doing it what he usually fucking does.
Mm-hmm.
And it seemed a little off to me. You know what I mean? So I'm like, dude, spin.
Do your thing.
Do your fucking thing that you do all the fucking time. You know what I mean?
It's impeccable timing with the twirls,
right,
and the spins,
but
and the tosses. That's how he feels comfortable. That's how I feel.
That's what
every time I've ever seen him play. That's where he just seems like it, and it's like second nature to him.
Yeah,
like it's just.
You're exactly right.
Yeah,
and then he did one take like that, and that was it.
Yeah,
and there's the song, and because at first he was just trying to be like. 4 on the floor, you know, kind of. I don't want to do all this stuff,
right?
But I mean,
he's amazing. So you guys had a real good run, and then you left the band for a little bit, about 2013.
I had to. It was like, what is it, like 14 or
13, 14? I think you left for a little bit.
Oh, I blew my voice out.
Yeah,
we were playing too much, and
you guys were playing a lot.
I was partying too much, and I was really fucked up over this girl, and then Lane died, and I really lost my mind.
Sure,
and
you just need to take a step back from it all.
Well, the voice doctor at the Cleveland Clinic was like, "You need to shut up."
Really?
He goes, "You've been doing this for 12 years, 4 or 5 nights a week." He's like,
no,
nobody can do that.
Yeah. So we're coming up on 20 years that you've been playing more or less in Breakfast Club.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now it's pretty much the same lineup, except now Billy's doing Sunset Strip.
Oh,
You got a new
that's
guitar
not even
player.
close.
Well,
Gio.
Gio's amazing.
Oh my god!
But you still got Timmy on drums, right?
Yeah, Timmy's on.
No. Eric Matthews is playing drums.
Oh, really?
He's basically yes.
Okay.
Eric Matthews is basically John Bonham. I mean, he hits the same. He's got the same fucking drum set. He's got like 5 of them. This guy has more drum sets than anybody I know. But it's so fun.
Yeah.
Now.
That's great.
You know, and you know.
Well, there's not that pressure playing 4 or 5 nights a week either, you know.
Well, and I'm happy to be alive.
Yeah, it's been a rough time. I mean, but and now you're getting into a lot of acoustic stuff too. I'm seeing you're playing acoustic shows. You're doing a lot of stuff online, which is amazing. So tell us about what some of that acoustic stuff that you're into now.
Well, I'm doing that, and I try to most of the time have my kid Sarah play with me, and her voice is so beautiful.
That's awesome.
It's
is she
it makes
recording?
me cry sometimes.
Yeah, dude. Is she,
absolutely.
Is she recording? Is she doing her own thing? Is she in a band?
I'm about to record a really nice demo with her, and but it's not what everybody thinks. You know, she does a lot of standards and stuff like that, like old standards, like she loves Billie Holiday, like
dude. Well, it's going back to mom then, you know, in a way.
Right. No, I'll tell you what. It was like 15 or 16, 2015 or 16. I went to pick her up at her house. She got in my car, and she put a playlist on it, and I could have sworn it was my mom's playlist.
No kidding.
Ella
How awesome
Fitzgerald,
is that?
Billie Holiday, like all that kind of stuff. She loves Amy Winehouse.
Sure.
All that stuff.
That's awesome.
But she kills it, man.
Between personal and professional life, what's your greatest musical accomplishment?
What was the part that you were like, fuck yeah, this is why I do what I do?
This right here.
Well, besides Stairway.
Besides Stairway to Heaven?
But
Stairway to Heaven, you dumb fuck.
What are we called?
Brandon wants to know that.
Stairway to Cleveland.
Oh, thank you.
He wants to know through all of it,
Should
from
join
the
the
get
show.
of 14 to now, what was the fucking part where you were like, fuck yeah, this is what I do?
What was the pinnacle, Dave?
That's what I was asking. I thought you said there were
I
like
don't
20,000 people watching you.
There-
That's what.
I've been so lucky and had such a great life. And I always just thought it was so amazing that all these amazing musicians wanted to play with me. That my biggest thing is like, let's talk about guitar players.
Right.
Sure.
Todd Tucker, Billy Morris, Tony Spike fucking Martin,
Oh, Ethan.
JJ Ferris, Gio fucking Mastro, the bass players. I mean, I could just go on and on and on and on.
But there's a reason
I
they always
don't
want to play
underst-
with you, bro.
I understand that, but I don't know why.
Right.
Because they were so much better than I was. So much better musicians and everything.
Yeah.
I'm just like the people I got to play with or get to play with.
Right.
It's incredible.
It's amazing. And you're
but don't-
amazing, dude.
Yeah, but don't sell yourself short.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a reason all those different guys who probably didn't even know each other all gravitated to wanting to play with you.
Yeah. And you're not done. You got plenty left in the tank, bro. So there's a lot of road up ahead.
So I was screaming my ass off.
But you're good at it.
I am good at screaming my ass off.
Make sure you guys all check out Dave. Check him out on his socials. He puts up a lot of cool stuff.
Absolutely.
And now we're going to talk about Cleveland singers.
Like I got all my records on every streaming thing in the world.
Check them all out.
Dave Brooks.
And go check out that first Slammin'
Slammin'
Gladys.
Gladys.
Oh, yeah.
The second one that came out in 2020 is really freaking good too. So
It's like the favorite thing I've ever done.
yeah. So check it all out. And we're going to talk about Cleveland singers when we get back after these words from your sponsors. We'll be back in 2 and 2.
Who's your baby? Who's your baby? Who's your baby? Who's your baby?
All right, we're going to talk about singers from Cleveland, Ohio that made it. Before we get any farther, this spot is brought to you by the Cleveland Musicians Fundraiser. Coming May 22nd, we're doing a golf outing at Briardale for Sub-Zero Mission.
No. 4.
Oh. And then July 25th is the main show where we're going to get 50 of Cleveland's best musicians, present company included.
We are?
Plus
We are.
us.
Plus us. And we're going to put on a whole benefit, once again, playing Kiss songs. So Rick put up the information. We'll take care of it. We didn't say hi to Rick. Rick, how's it going back there tonight?
Yeah.
There it is.
Good.
All right, cool. So we're going to talk about famous Cleveland singers. Let's start down the list. We'll go quickly tonight because we're running late. Bobby Womack. Everybody know about Bobby Womack?
Oh.
I mean,
He played with who the hell did he play
he
with?
wrote a lot of songs.
He wrote
Yeah,
a lot
he
of good
did.
songs.
He wrote the Stones' first hit, I believe. Joey, feel free to join.
Across 110th Street is the biggest song that Bobby Womack wrote, and it was featured in probably 10 or 15 major films.
Yeah, I mean-
it's always the one that's played for some reason.
Wow.
And, Bobby is a very Well, I don't know if
I
he's
bet
still
his
alive.
kids are
He's
really
not.
happy
He's-
right
Oh,
now.
he passed, but I did have I was fortunate enough to meet him.
Really?
And
He's amazing.
he
Amazing musician.
was so incredibly nice and genuine and humble and wonderful.
So you had nothing in common.
No,
Okay,
nothing. Zero, except the place we were standing.
Oh, shit.
Wow. It's the Joey roast.
I can't even be.
Damn.
I can't even be part of this anywhere. It's the stairway to hell.
All right, let's move on.
Damn.
I'm sorry. I love you, Joey.
The one thing about Scott is he has some quick wit.
That's
The
about it.
offense of others people's feelings. But yes.
If speed impresses you, I'm the man for you. Chrissy Hind. I mean, now that's a legend.
That was some
I mean,
Akron shit.
She was We're going to continue. You know,
Over
we're
and
getting some
over and
Akron
over and
people
over
on
and
here.
over and
But
over.
she had to go to England to get famous.
Right, but
Yeah.
you know, she went back to Ohio, and I heard her city was gone.
She was almost Mrs. Vicious.
She was almost Mrs.
Dude.
Davies as well.
So she was Mrs. Davies, I think.
Akron. It's pretty tough, man.
It is. LeBron
Akron's
told me.
Pretty tough.
But if you're down there, go to Luigi's. And get
Yes.
and get the meatball splash. All right, back at it.
Did Chrissy Hind sing at Luigi's?
No, but her apartment complex is right next
door.
Yeah.
Oh, right on.
Yeah.
No,
All right.
she had a restaurant right next to
Oh, it's that vegan restaurant,
the
right?
vegetarian,
Okay.
and Kim Blower used to run it.
But obviously, they're legend. Are the Pretenders in the Rock Hall?
I talked to her. I talked to Chrissy one night at the bar, and she was
She's not a
a
mess
little
around
more
girl.
fucked up than I was.
Wow.
And,
was she friendly? She doesn't seem very friendly.
No, she was real friendly to me.
Okay. Well, then, good for you.
I think
That's
you
one
know,
person.
Let's move on. Before we got anybody incriminated here.
I'm gonna say some shit that I
Yeah.
shouldn't say.
How about here? Now here's a legend from the Cleveland area. Eric Carmen from the Raspberries in his solo career.
All by myself.
One of my favorite singers
God,
He's amazing.
and songwriters.
Yeah, I mean the Raspberries, and then he
great
went on to-
song.
yeah. So Eric Carmen, I mean, he moved to Arizona, I believe. Is that right? Arizona.
Is he out there?
Yeah, he was here for a long time though. I worked with Wally
I would
Bryson,
move to
so-
Arizona.
Yeah,
It's a beautiful
It's good for
area.
your voice.
Well, it is. It really
It's
is.
nice
Oh,
and
yeah.
dry. And okay, we got to touch on him. One, Mr. Janie Lane.
Yeah.
Brimfield, though.
Well, okay, we're considering everybody from the Akron area.
Yeah,
up.
but he played in Cleveland all the time,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
as much as I did.
Sweetheart of a guy. I
Well,
met
I
him a
don't know
couple
about
times.
that,
You
but-
knew him,
Yeah,
of course,
I mean,
but
you
I
obviously
always-
know a lot more than we do about Janie, but
always a gracious, nice.
amazing
person.
songwriter, underrated songwriter. He doesn't get enough credit for being a great songwriter, but obviously, like you said, perfect pitch, could sing the phone book, and a great guy, and we miss him. Let's move on. Joe Walsh,
One of my guitar
not
heroes.
from Cleveland, but he made his bones in Cleveland.
He's from Indiana.
Kent State. He played everywhere in the city. I mean,
No, but for Zeppelin.
He sold one of his Les Pauls to Jimmy Page, and that was the one Jimmy used all through Led Zeppelin.
yeah.
Wow, that's a interesting bit of fucking information.
I got a little bit.
Yeah.
I've been quiet the whole time.
Man, it's about time you fucking did
Yeah.
something. Anyway,
Yeah,
Joe
do
Walsh.
some talking.
I mean, obviously, from the James Gang to the Eagles and his solo career alone.
Jesus Christ.
One of my favorite musicians
The
of
best,
all time.
maybe one of the best records ever made was Hotel California.
Agreed. I'll agree with that.
I mean, could I say one of the best riffs of all time, Funk 49?
Okay.
So, I mean,
And you know
Joe
what he
Walsh.
played that through? A little tiny champ amp.
No kidding.
It was this big
Wow.
with a fucking Telecaster.
Yeah.
Gotta love him.
Yeah, amazing. Now this next one I'm not sure much about. I don't know much about him. Maybe Joey can help out. Kid Cudi. Do we know much about Kid Cudi? I know he's a rapper.
Kid Cudi's a rapper somewhat, but he can sing.
Yeah.
That's for sure. And that's a whole different genre or generation, I should say, of music that's more popular now.
Do you have Bone Thugs and Harmony on that list?
I think we need to drink more.
You should have.
Maybe.
Well, we're going to meet them at the crossroads later.
Yes. Kid Cudi definitely should be mentioned.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And then we got the Levert brothers.
Oh,
Gerald and Sean Levert.
That's amazing.
I mean, yeah.
Sons of the Isleys, weren't they?
Yeah. Yeah, amazing.
I mean, Casanova, you can't.
I know much on Casanova.
Well, I mean,
MGK, Machine Gun Kelly.
Do you know that guy?
Absolutely. MGK should be absolutely mentioned.
Yeah, he represents Cleveland huge too.
Yeah,
I mean,
he does.
He really does.
It's definitely a hometown thing.
I mean, he's playing First Energy Stadium.
Aren't you related to him?
Well, I'm not related, but my nephew did produce a song on the Tickets to My Downfall #1 album, I might add.
And Megan Fox. I mean,
well, I mean, you know.
Well,
go big or go home.
Yeah, big thumbs or go home.
Well, you get the
She's
fucker.
from Cleveland?
That's pretty. That's pretty
Well,
amazing.
by injection.
Is she a singer too?
Oh boy.
No,
Off the
not
rails.
you.
No,
I'm
Officially
talking
gone
about
off
him.
the rails.
All right, Michael Stanley.
Yes.
The legend himself.
Absolutely.
I mean, this town is still his town.
No better representation of Cleveland.
I saw one of the concerts at Blossom where he what was it?
4
5
sold-out
nights?
shows.
4?
It was like 5-6 nights. It was crazy.
I thought it was 4.
Okay.
I thought it was 4.
It's between 4 and 7.
It's
I thought it
4th
was
and 10. That's the
4th
name of the
and 10.
record.
Yeah, what's the fucking difference?
Anyway,
He probably could have sold 6.
Elevator music in 3, 2, 1.
So that's how many concerts Michael Stanley sold out. But I mean, he is like quintessentially the Cleveland artist everyone thinks about.
Well,
Other than you, Scott, yes.
underappreciated with the rest of the country and the world.
Absolutely.
Like, man, there were some great songs like Lover and stuff like that. They were just great songs.
Yeah. He was an amazing
wrote some great
songwriter.
stuff.
My buddy sings it.
I try.
Shall we move on? The OJs.
Yeah.
And we're not talking about the guy who killed his wife. We're talking about the band, the OJs.
Yeah, that's who I was thinking of. It's the OJ's kids were Levert, not the
There you
Isley
go.
Brothers.
I'm sure our
sorry.
facts-
Don't fact
That makes
check me.
sense.
By the way, the glove didn't fit. You must have quit.
Must have quit.
Yeah, you don't need to fact check me. I just did it. So
Again, I mean, they were huge. I mean, they were huge in their time. Let's move on. Now, here's one everybody usually thinks of Boston, but they really started in Cleveland. It's Rick Ocasek and Ben Orr from the Cars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They really started.
Benjamin Orr, one of my favorite singers.
They really started their journey in Cleveland. They went to school together.
Dude, we still do fucking Just What I Needed every fucking night.
Great song. I mean,
We play it. It's just.
And for the record,
It's a goddamn fucking perfect song.
the Benjamin Orr sung Cars songs are always my favorite ones.
I,
Bye Bye Love. That's all I have to say. That song is
all
brilliant.
of
moving
them.
in stereo.
Oh,
Richard
man.
Patrick from Filter. Another,
Yeah.
I mean, one of the coolest songs. Hey Man, Nice Shot, which is a very disturbing song. If you
It's a great
look it up.
movie. No, I'm just kidding.
Look up Bud Dwyer if you don't know anything about.
History, my home is dead.
Yep.
And his brother.
And his brother
is
Robert Patrick is
from
the Terminator. Well, Terminator 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think that's the
No?
official title.
You're gonna get smacked for that.
Picture
Let's
was a
go.
bigger
Oh,
song.
is Will Smith here?
Oh, the glasses are coming off. That's a good show when the glasses come off.
How about Steve Baders?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
Dead Boys.
How about that
was in
guy?
The New
How about that
Church. I mean,
He was
crazy dude, but man, he was talented. I mean, that was a punk rock star.
I think I saw him slap somebody.
I wouldn't doubt it. I saw a taxi slap him pretty good.
What are you doing?
Too soon. Too soon.
God, you're really getting in trouble, man.
I'm sorry.
You're on
All right,
fire.
let's move on. Tracy Chapman.
Yes.
From Cleveland.
Yeah.
She had one super big hit. I mean, you couldn't get away from it.
It's all she needed, apparently.
Yeah, but
I didn't know that.
that she was from Cleveland? She was
No,
from
I had
East
no
Cleveland.
idea.
Yeah.
She had 2 hits.
Did she have what
There's
was
a
her
lot
second?
of people
Fast
from
Car.
East Cleveland.
Fast car, yeah.
That was
yeah.
the first one.
And Give Me One Reason. Give me one reason to stay
yeah,
here.
that was
that
good.
Tracy Chapman?
That was a
it.
great album. Actually, that album that she did, her first album, sold so well because I worked at the record
Because
store.
of that hit.
Yeah, I mean it sold like crazy.
Huh. Mr. Nine Inch Nails himself, Trent Reznor.
Oh yeah,
Again, not from Cleveland, but made his bones in Cleveland.
Can I say something?
Absolutely. That's why you're
TBT
here.
Records.
Before I went out to Los Angeles, we went and recorded our demo, and Trent Reznor was the freaking engineer.
Really? Was that Midtown?
What the fuck was the name of that place?
It was in
it was
Lakewood?
it was over on. It was Midtown.
Yeah, it was down by Cleveland State.
I think it was Midtown, but it might have been. It wasn't a studio in Lakewood.
No.
He worked at the studio. He worked at Midtown as.
It was Cleveland. It was like
that's probably Midtown.
Yeah, I would say that.
That's where we recorded our album.
And he, you should hear it. I mean, I listened to it like a couple years ago, and I was like, wow, this guy's great.
Yeah.
We weren't.
He recorded Pretty Hate Machine there while he was working there, so he would clean around for studio time.
Yeah, and he was the one that suggested a lot of things like Lindrums and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And man, he was.
Man, he was a talent.
What a talent!
I remember seeing him down at. We spoke at Peabody's.
Doesn't talk too much.
No.
A few words.
I saw him down at Peabody's at doing the exotic birds thing before.
Oh yeah, remember?
Before he became
The Exotic Birds.
Yeah, where he's just the keyboard player.
They used to play the Cleveland Cafe all the time.
And The Innocent.
All right, we got a couple more names. Derek Green. I'm not really familiar with it, but Rick talked about Outface and Sepultura.
Yeah.
We went on for that, and he said,
"Oh wow,
Rick, why don't you
Is
tell
that
us
right?
about that?"
He was in Outface. Now he's in Sepultura.
Thanks, man. Thanks for clearing that up.
Not a problem. And Outface was a hardcore band.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, they
They
were
were
good.
good. They were
They
good.
did like reggae.
That's crazy.
Hardcore stuff. Yeah.
Yeah,
And now
I
he's
remember them.
In fact, their bass player Frank went on to Filter.
Okay, and he did the famous bass line and came down and shot.
If we're going to throw in hardcore singers, we got to mention Dwid.
Yes.
Oh yes,
Dwight Hellion.
yes.
Of course, yeah.
That's my 2 cents.
Thank you.
All right, my last name I've got on here is Scott Weiland.
Weiland.
Weiland. Potato, tomato. Scott Weiland.
We used to play with those guys all the time. I love that guy.
He was so talented, and he really blossomed. It's a shame how he ended, but I mean, he had a song called "Missing Cleveland." Was that the name of it? Amazing.
Me and Axelrod, Lisa, were up in the bathroom at the whiskey, fucking.
Oh, I
And-
thought you were gonna say cleaning.
And
I thought you were gonna say mopping the floor.
no. Weiland was banging on the door, and he's like, "Brooks, I gotta fucking piss. You gotta get the fuck out of
Was
there."
Drive playing?
No.
Probably.
Anybody else have any other Cleveland singers I might have forgotten?
Dave? pilots.
George Eunice.
George Eunice.
Eunice. Yeah.
What a like that
Rich
guy.
Spina.
That right?
Rich Spina, for sure.
Rich
Absolutely.
Spina, George Eunice. George Eunice changed my life. I mean, the first time I saw him at the Cleveland Agora, and they were doing Once Bitten, Twice Shy, and he just killed it all the time. Every time that guy sang, that's another guy that was just like fucking perfect.
Mike and CJ Zuter.
Sure.
Fuck. Two.
I mean,
of
and
the
it
best,
counts.
the best vocalists, I think, came out of Cleveland.
Sure, and
Songwriters.
a lot of people don't
Songwriters.
know that does count because Magnify was a signed artist,
They were
and
great.
they did tour, and
Phenomenal.
Mike has played on
Mike
a
could write a song like
plethora
this.
of albums
But
that
those-
people don't know about, and that's a whole nother topic. But
those two gave me
sure,
the courage to get up and and perform in front of people. I mean, for years I watched them and watched them and watched them.
You know what gave me the courage? Tequila.
Well, another great singer.
Another couple. I mean, I don't have them on the list, but I mean, I grew up on Paul Fairweather. Was
Sure.
amazing.
My God,
I stole so much shit from that guy.
absolutely.
And he's still doing it. He's still doing
I
it.
stole so many stage moves from that fucking guy.
Did you have a big grape costume you'd wear on
No, I
stage?
didn't do that. Just the way he used his hands.
Another one. We mentioned him. We were talking earlier. Dave Dennis. I mean,
Absolutely.
Zaza.
Dave Dennis.
They
Oh,
were,
yeah,
they
yeah,
were
yeah.
huge. I mean,
Absolutely.
yeah. And
Dave was
And
great.
those are all honorable mentions.
we're gonna throw down.
Oh yeah, we're gonna throw
Throw
Dave down the stairs, and we're gonna go over these albums.
Joey, crank up drive.
I'm not in it.
Battle.
I'm out.
We'll be back with a battle right now.
Okay.
It's time to battle. And tonight, Dave's pick, we're battling Aerosmith.
One of the best bands of all time,
They
in my
are.
opinion.
They're the
American-
United States version of the Rolling Stones, is what I consider
Or
them.
even better than that.
No, fuck you guys.
They're so much better than the Stones, man.
How dare you?
It's Aerosmith, man.
All right, let's talk about our albums. Each of us
Okay.
chose our favorite Aerosmith album, and we're going to debate.
We all didn't choose our favorite Aerosmith.
We are going to debate on why it's the best album. And since Keith has the oldest album, he will be our first one up tonight.
I'm gonna kick a lot of knowledge on this one. I have to say that my favorite Aerosmith album is not the one I'll be presenting this evening. It's the one that these two stole from me because I love both those albums better. But I can argue any Aerosmith album because I love everything up to and including Pump.
Well, I almost picked that.
Well, you should have. It would have made my job a lot easier, but that's okay, Dave. I'm going to go with Get Your Wings, and here's why. This was the introduction to Jack Douglas, the sixth member of Aerosmith, during the most important part in their rise to fame. Without this album and this tour for Get Your Wings, you wouldn't have been ready to put out an album like Toys in the Attic. But that's your pick. You can't show it yet. That's why I didn't want to go first. But anyway, no, great album. This is where I feel Steven Tyler learned how to write. He had Dream On, epic, on the first album. That was the only one I feel he actually had his real voice on. Those other songs, I think it was kind of like, I don't know. I think he was trying to be somebody he wasn't.
He even said that.
Yeah. I mean, you can tell when you listen to it. The production was awful, I think, on that first album. Because you know how I am with guitar tone. This is where the
That's
guitars...
a tough thing to say, man.
But it's true. Let's listen to it again, but not right now. The guitar tone on here, what Jack Douglas was able to get, and this was the beginning of that two-guitar creamy Marshall sound, I like to call it, that came out in this album. And there's so many good songs on here.
That's
Same
a
old
good name
song
for a
and dance.
band, Creamy Marshall.
Oh yeah. Lord of the Thighs, Space, Women of the World, SOS. One of my favorite songs by them, actually, and that was a Steven Tyler written song. I think he found his voice on this one. That's where I think it started, right here. And then he was building
Lord of
those charts.
Thighs?
This album.
No,
Period.
I agree with that.
But I think this is where he actually started learning how to write a good song. I think on that first one, it was their first album. I think they were all a little bit nervous to do it. I don't think Joe Perry was happy with the production, so both of us agree on that. But this was the beginning. I love the album.
I'm going to destroy you.
I know you are. Because you're picking one of the albums that I love more than anything else.
Let me drop some knowledge on this album.
Go ahead.
That I have.
Go ahead.
Okay, this was the second studio album.
Yes.
It was released in March 15th of 1974.
Yeah.
The album, again, was the first with Jack Douglas, who did the next three albums.
All of which are amazing.
And
of course.
a few other ones.
3 singles were released off that album, but none of them reached the singles chart.
Nope.
It was certified triple platinum.
It's a shame.
Columbia had wanted the band to work with Bob Ezrin, who had also produced Alice Cooper at the time.
Right.
It was Ezrin who introduced the band to Douglas.
Bad. He was good.
Yeah. And for all practical purposes, Jack became our producer. Ezrin might have shown up 2 or 3 times to make suggestions. So that's basically what they said.
Suggestions?
This is what I find funny. The original lyric for Same Old Song and Dance, got you with the cocaine, found you with your gun,
right,
was altered for the single version. You shady looking loser, you played with my gun. They changed it to. It's like,
and it's also on the greatest hits that way, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Okay.
There was a lot of cocaine going on.
Oh yeah, that's where they probably really discovered not only their voice but Colombian white.
And they got better, and then all of a sudden the excess had made them.
And also with Lord of the Thighs, the opening beat, which is very similar.
Constantly.
The opening beat to Lord of the Thighs is very similar to Walk This Way, which came out on the next album.
Absolutely. Do you really think that?
Oh yeah, they even said so. Joey Kramer even said so.
I don't know about that.
But again, Same Old Song and Dance, probably the biggest one off Train Kept a Rolling, which wasn't their song.
No, it was a remake.
But
an old blues classic.
Old song.
Yeah. But it's a good album.
I don't think anybody knows.
It's a good album. It takes a solid.
And on the studio part of that song, well, it's technically all studio. I think they piped in
the crowd at the end.
But Stephen Hunter played the solo on the first part.
Okay.
It wasn't even one of the guys in Aerosmith. But yeah, it's still a great album.
How do you know that?
I got stuff up here.
That's fucking true.
There you go.
That you got stuff up there? Yeah.
There you go.
A whole lot of nothing. All right. Brooks, what album did you pick? And
Joe
why?
Perry played everything. And so did Brad Whitford.
Oh.
This guy right here.
Boys in the Attic.
Perfect record.
Yeah.
Perfect fucking record. Open up with Toys in the Attic. Like, you'd want to do this at a show.
Great.
Yeah.
Open up with Toys in the Attic.
Great album.
And then do Uncle Salty. Come on, man. Adam's Apple.
Yeah.
Get on. Fucking get out. Walk This Way.
I mean, never heard of that song.
Big 10-inch.
Amazing.
I mean, come on.
Again, not their song, though.
No,
It doesn't matter.
They
made it their own.
It was an old blues song,
Right.
but Tyler fucking owned it.
Yes, he did. Absolutely.
He fucking owned it.
I mean, talk about side 2, though, dude.
He owned
one of the greatest songs ever written.
He owned everything on this record.
Yeah.
Sweet Emotion.
One of the best songs ever written, in my opinion.
Come on, man.
I'm sorry.
No More.
Great song.
No, not my favorite song ever.
Great song.
But it's cool. Whitford had a hand in that?
The guitar solo is stupidly and amazing. Round and Round. Another great song with amazing guitar playing. And You See Me Crying. You want to try
Great ballad.
You want to try to sing that?
No, thank you.
No, I don't.
Right?
But you know what the cool part is? Steven Tyler can still sing it.
Yeah, he can.
He can still sing.
So
It's a great album.
I gotta say, Toys in the Attic is the best Aerosmith record.
Yeah. Let me drop some knowledge on that.
I win
Album
already.
free. We're not done yet.
Fuck you.
Toys in the Attic is the third studio album by Aerosmith, released April 8th, 1975. It's the most commercially successful LP.
Brilliant album.
Sold 9 million copies. Holy mackerel. That's crazy. All those
Because it's
commercial
good.
hits they had after.
Have you ever met a mackerel?
Yeah, I have. It didn't have any holes
And
in
one
it.
that's into
They
religion.
smell really bad.
Joe Perry said on the first two albums, they were basically comprised of songs they'd been playing for years live in clubs. With Toys, they started from scratch. So to start from scratch and come up with that, freaking amazing.
Pretty impressive.
The song Walk This Way, the lyrics were inspired by the movie Young Frankenstein because of the silly walk when he said walk this way.
Yeah.
Oh.
So they were having a hard time
That's
coming
really
with
funny.
They were having a hard time coming with
I did
lyrics for
not
that
fucking
song.
know that.
Yeah, so they went to the movies and Joe Perry saw that and they came up with that.
And told Steven Tyler, I guess.
Yes. Mhm.
Yeah.
He had a hard time writing lyrics, you know that?
But when he finally did write them,
He did okay.
they
No,
were
yeah,
pretty
he
cool.
did all right.
They were pretty cool. He had his way.
So
He was almost
again,
a scat type of song. It was a good
Again,
song.
Jack Douglas
Right.
produced it, and I mean, just 9 songs of pure rock and roll.
Production is great on that album.
I mean, yeah, but
But it's
So
no.
what are you trying to do?
it's no.
He's trying to win for once.
It's no rock.
No, he's not going to win.
It's no.
I think he
rocks.
does at this point because that's my
This
favorite.
album just kicks you in the dick from the
Sick
start.
as a dog.
I mean, back in the saddle, bro. I mean, it just comes out and it just punches you right in the dick. What are you doing? These guys are flipping me off in the background. But I mean,
Don't
So
kill
does-
him.
So does Toys in the Attic.
well, let's not talk about it. We're past Toys in the Attic.
Combination's great on there.
Last Child. I mean,
Great song.
Come on.
Great song.
Yeah,
It's a great
see?
hook.
Welcome to the team.
Every song in the record's great.
It's
Exactly.
fantastic.
That's why it's the best.
But wait,
Aerosmith.
my
No.
favorite song on this whole album. Can I? Please?
No, you're not allowed to touch.
Everybody knows
Here.
that this is the best one.
It's not. It's very close.
You won, Brooks.
Nobody's fault.
Oh, God.
Fight me on that one.
How about, Jesus Christ.
Pick them all. They're all great.
Licking a Promise, man.
Right?
It's the best album. I'm sorry.
It's an amazing album.
I love Toys in the Attic.
So do I. I mean, personally, I think Toys in the Attic and this are neck and neck.
I'm
But
giving
this,
in.
This one right
Finally.
here, if you listen to it, it's hard. You hear things that other
It's a little
bands
more
did
raw, I think.
later.
Are any of these songs on the radio?
Absolutely. Back in the Saddle's on all the frickin' time.
Yeah, maybe
Last
sometimes.
Last Child, yeah, that's always
How
on.
many of these songs are on the radio?
All of them.
Couple.
There's 2 songs off
many-
of there that are
If
on
not
the
for
radio.
Run DMC, no one would be talking about this album.
That's a complete lie.
Thank God for
I hear
that.
Thank God for Profile
I hear
Records.
almost
Thank
like
God.
5 of these songs on the radio.
Daily.
Today?
How many you hear?
9.
Bullshit.
Let me drop some knowledge on this record.
Yeah,
Rock's
let me-
the 4th studio album by Aerosmith. It was released in May 14th,
You got
1976. Yes, buddy.
That's their pinnacle. I'm sorry.
This album right here has been greatly influenced many hard rock bands, including
Go ahead.
Guns N' Roses,
Yes.
Metallica, and Nirvana.
Shocker.
Your next door neighbors in Nirvana. This album was a commercial success, charting 3 top 10 singles in the Hot 100s, including Back in the Saddle and Last Child. Okay, maybe not top 10, but the album was one of the first to ship platinum when it was released and has since gone quadruple platinum.
You know why it shipped platinum?
Yeah, because there's sold a
Because
million
of
of them.
Toys in the Attic.
Good
yeah,
point.
exactly.
Good point.
They built off of it and sold even more on this one.
I just gotta say.
Joe Perry said of this album, there's no doubt we were doing a lot of drugs by then, but whatever we were doing, it was working for us.
Winner.
Rock
winner.
was the album that Tom and Brad had a lot more input on the songs.
I just think it's a great album. And I'm not going to even argue
is.
it.
I gotta say,
Yeah.
when I was learning to sing,
Mm-hmm.
I would drink orange juice and sit there and sing all these songs.
Right.
I was a little kid, 15, 16, and I would listen to all these songs. And
Pulp or no pulp?
Licking a Promise, Jesus Christ. What
It's
a great
amazing.
song.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great album.
I mean, it is.
So basically what you're saying is this is the best album.
No, it's Toys in the Attic.
You heard it here first, folks. Dave Brooks is approved.
Scott has lied to you for the past
best
5
album.
episodes about winning, but he finally wins. I would give you guys a tie, and I would just bow out because, I know when I've been defeated.
But that record is
It's not a shitty album by any stretch. This is a
nobody
great
took
album.
draw the line.
See? Because you don't want to talk bad
He's
about
getting
rocks.
choked up over rocks. But no.
But here, let's look at this. We got Same Old Song and Dance, Lord of the Thighs, Spaced.
Seasons to Wither is on there.
I know. This record is so good.
So you guys want to switch?
No.
No.
I
Because you
stay
both
true.
know this is going to beat it.
It doesn't matter.
That's bullshit, man. Yeah, Toys in the Attic is the best Aerosmith record, and you
now
know
this
it.
is a battle. This is what I like.
You know that Toys in the Attic is the best.
The
Aerosmith
only way
record.
you're going to convince him is better is if you punch him right in the face right now.
Don't do that.
No, I don't want to do
Come
that.
on, you're Will Smith.
I'll do it.
Hey, slap that fucker.
Why are you mad?
Why are you yelling?
Why are you yelling?
I'm not.
No, I think every one of these albums, and as Brandon had even mentioned,
Who?
Draw the Line is a great album.
It is.
Yeah,
They have a lot of
all
great
them.
albums.
Pump is amazing. I should have
God,
taken
what a
it.
great record Pump is.
Permanent Vacation's a great record.
So is Done with Mirrors. Permanent Vacation
Well,
is
Joey
Done with
thinks
Mirrors is a masterpiece.
Done with Mirrors is a great album.
Just Press Play is.
Ah, cut this film.
All right, yeah, that was the dumbest
So basically,
thing
what
I've
we've
ever said
decided,
ever.
you guys can decide what the best Aerosmith record is that rhymes with Cox.
Blocks?
What?
We want to thank our very special guest, Dave Brooks, for coming down and hanging out with us tonight. We appreciate you, brother.
I'm drunk.
That's okay. That's what it's about.
No
Having
one will
fun.
notice.
No, this thing. No one's going to see this thing.
No.
You really think?
No, they all noticed. Come on.
We want to thank
Bring it in.
Joey for having us down at Liquid Lounge one more time. We'll be here again a few more shows. And we're going to do an unscripted with you, Joey, about our favorite singers as well. Keith, it's always fun. Brandon, special guest, making a whole lot of noise in the background.
Thank you for serving them up back there, Brandon.
Producer Rick, we always appreciate you, my friend.
Good job, boys.
We'll see you at our next episode of Stairway to Cleveland. For Stairway to Cleveland, that's Keith.
That's Scott.
We'll see you next time.
Absolutely.
Hey, if you like this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, share it with your friends.
And don't forget to follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Show us your
everywhere.
tweets. Ooh.